All right. I think we're good. So I'm going to look at MRVL first, understanding that MRVL does have earnings today after the bell. So, you know how John typically trades earnings. He puts on a call debit spread, he puts on a put debit spread. That's a typical way he's going to trade earnings. With Marvell, look, it's a beautiful looking rounding bottom. You had an imbalance candle here on the weekly chart at about 199. And we came down and we dipped all the way down to the bottom here at 162, 163, but we have moved back up. The problem is we've come into an area on a smaller time frame that is a supply zone. So let's look at daily price action. That's where you will see the inside and down candlestick structure. I'm going to shrink this zone just a little since we have gotten up into it right now. So with that being said, oftentimes in right before earnings, you want to know, have they pushed price to supply or have they pushed price to demand? In the case of Marvell, they pushed price to supply. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have to sell off on earnings, but it is something to note. As far as the daily supply, hey Jay, I thought you went fishing. As far as the daily supply zone above the zone that Marvell is currently in, it's up here. So 308 to 330. Hey John. Hello, hello. You know he's got to be able to see me, right? All right. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing. The buy zone is down here near 200. Sell zone's right where price is at, right around 250 to 275, and the higher supply zone 308 to 330. And hey Jay. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, Mel? How are you?
Hey. I thought
Hey,
you went fishing. They told me you went fishing.
no,
Was that a
no.
joke?
They must have been. They must have been joking. I've
Dude.
been
Oh,
cleaning and getting ready for mentally for the call after the market.
gotcha.
Usually I'm brain dead at 3 o'clock, so I was trying to get away from the
Uh,
screens, and then I saw the reminder, and I was like, oh, I need to come in here real quick. So yeah, I'll just sit in the background, and if you guys need me to do something. Of course, you just want to take over. Is he talking about me?
who?
I don't know, Stephen
Steven?
Hobbs.
Maybe. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No,
yeah,
have
no,
fun.
I was just answering questions. Lester had a couple of chart requests for Marvell and IREN, and then
Okay,
TLC is requesting UNH.
okay, cool.
But
Let's see
other
what you
than
have.
that,
I'm interested. Did you already go over the whole thing of Marvel?
Marvell's stuck, man. I
Is it?
mean, it's a beautiful rounding bottom on the weekly chart.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely beautiful rounding bottom, but look at the daily, it pushed up to daily supply.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tested zone, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I hear and have been a student of yours for a long, long time, and you always are like, going into earnings or a major event, have they pushed price into supply or demand? So the answer for Marvell is they push price into supply.
Mm-hmm.
The demand zone below that worked beautifully is right around 200 to 163 down here. What if they beat earnings, the market loves what they have to say, then the next supply zone is up above at 308 to 330.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to me, it's right at supply, but it's a tested supply zone. So, good earnings could shoot us up
Because
here.
that thing moves a lot, right? Like it.
Marvell has a
Yeah.
daily ATR of $17.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big mover. Weekly is 35 bucks. So on earnings,
Mm-hmm.
could we get there? Could we get there? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what the market maker is projecting. 24?
Mm. And
24?
24 would put us at 275 to the
Basically
backside.
275 backside of that supply zone, or 24 is going to be right about down here.
Gotcha.
Back, see where we consolidated forever and chopped around.
Mm-hmm.
Tested recently. It's a daily 21, right around 220.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's what I see for good old Marvell. Let's look at IREN.
So let me comment
Oh,
real quick because I might
yeah.
trade. No, no, you
Yeah.
don't have to
Go
go
ahead.
back to it. But what I was going to say is she has a really good point. This is a perfect example, Mel, of why I would buy a closer put debit,
Mm-hmm.
just because we're at supply, even if it's been tested. But I like the overall trend is green, so I would buy a couple weeks out with a call debit spread, and if it moves, like I think about it, if it moves like 725 bucks or whatever you said, I think it could do
35 a
double.
week.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
it could do double. And that's the thing that a lot of
Ooh.
like they don't put into consideration. Plus, the market's super bullish, about to hit our target up here. Um,
Half back, John,
yeah, yeah,
where we're sitting.
exactly, exactly. So right here, I was actually thinking if we get a short signal here, I might sell credit, but then I was thinking it's going into the end of the month. So new money, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. But anyways, back to Marvell. I'm thinking like something crazy, like 275s to 300s, something between there for a couple weeks out, and then I would buy a put debit to the downside into what you were saying, like even
220,
yeah,
200.
220 to like 210 or something. So that's my idea. I'm gonna write that down actually. 220 maybe to 210, something like that. If they're cheap puts, and then for calls, somewhere between 275 to 300. So, okay, cool. Awesome.
Very
We
cool.
we just hit that level.
IREN, good old IREN. We are in the bearish GP right now, John. Dead in it. Just
Mhm.
like
I know.
7740-ish was the 50, and then the 618 sitting up there at 7760. Those are
Well,
ES numbers,
mhm.
FYI.
Yeah.
Let's see. IREN, man, I haven't charted this in a while, it looks like. But let me remove all this. Even not charting it for a while, demand worked. Uh, we wicked below it. This is probably the end of July, whenever I was gone, when everything wicked down into the bottom of demand.
Mhm.
And we've popped up above it. You have a very, very clear supply zone here and here. Um, Imbalance candles. This is supply. You can see the demand zone that we bounced out of the end of July. IREN, do they report also? Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. You got another possible earnings trade here, Jay. Let's let me find for you, or let me just put a line right at the upper yearly edge, because I think that will be part of your thesis for an earnings trade. And then I'm going to measure this recent down move here until we bounce. Relief bounce till proven otherwise. Hello. Here's your bearish GP. Could be a target, right? I don't know how
Mhm.
IREN typically moves on earnings, but this is that bearish GP. And then you got supply there. And nothing tells me, I mean, everything says this is the demand zone unless they flush it. And then in that case, you go back to your next level of candlestick structure right here.
I like you.
So it's yeah, pretty self-explanatory here on iron. Unlike Marvell, they actually have iron closer to demand.
Mm,
So you can see it's pulled back, guys, closer to the demand zone. This is a tested demand zone. We came up, we almost tapped at 50 fib from this down move, and we sold off, and we've come back down, and we're just resting right at the yearly edge mid, right above this demand zone. So a mute move on iron, I believe, brings us, if it's a mute move down, I believe brings us in back into the demand zone. I would actually, since the bottom has been tested, I would lean more towards the bottom of this zone for a potential debit, or use the fresh zone below 26.5 by 20.75. Then if we have a mute move to the upsize, a muted move to the upsize, I would target 50 to 55, but the supply zone is basically 61 to 77. And that's what I see for good old iron. You want to comment as far as an earnings trade goes here, Jay?
let's see. Let's see. Let me look at your chart. For me,
This is a
um,
50 and 618 of that down
yeah,
move.
yeah. Eh, And this thing moves pretty well, or
Let me look. No, 4
no?
bucks.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that can be fun though, because
Yeah.
okay, for example, they're only trading at 41,
Mm-hmm.
and if they surprise, then we're going to 50.
Right.
You know
50
what I
to
mean?
55. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I look at like the 45s by the 50s for, let's say next Friday, because, it's Thursday, but let me look real quick.
Jeez, NASDAQ guys just now made it to the bearish GP. So FYI, the NASDAQ is just now hitting that 50 fib.
Yeah, after all that time.
Yep. The ES is getting close to the 618, but the NASI just hit the 50. NASDAQ 618 is up another 250 points.
So like the 45s by 50s, that's a really long stretch, but 90 cents, which means you can make about $410 a contract if this thing like
45s by
surprised and got up.
50s. Wow, that would only be the expected move.
Mhm.
It would be 45, John. And then the 50
Right.
is at
And
50 fib.
buying into next Friday. Yeah. And this is buying
Hmm.
into next Friday. It almost looks like someone put a really wide butterfly on this for next Friday. So there's a lot of volume on the 41, the 45, and the 50, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of,
So
yeah.
no, it's exactly makes sense. So that's right
Mm-hmm.
where price is at.
Mm-hmm.
It's the market maker expected move,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's that 50 fib.
Yep. What about further out? I mean, yeah, there's 4,000. It looks like new volume today on the 45s for $2.50
I
for
don't think the
22 days out.
daily's gonna, yeah, the daily don't show us anything different. John, the daily 200's at 45 also.
Really?
FYI. Yeah. The daily
Hmm.
200 is at 45. But other than that, I don't see anything different on the daily chart
I know, I'm gonna go for
than
it.
the weekly.
So we'll go for that. Does it look bearish at all to you?
It looks absolutely 100% neutral.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, when price is setting, John, at a yearly edge mid, and we are more than halfway through the year, and we're just sitting at the middle of the range, that's
Yeah.
just pretty neutral.
Right.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. The only signs that I look for into earnings is if they come back and hit like demand over and over and over before they're reporting. It's just speculation, but on my
Mm-mm.
part, it's saying that like they're trying to load up at
Mhm.
demand before earnings. That's usually like how I think about it. And it might not happen afterwards. Sometimes it's like buying a week out or so, but it's the first thing I think about. So I see your green zone, and I
It's
noticed
still gonna
since
be the same green zone. So,
yeah,
it looks
yeah,
like they sat and accumulated possibly, John, at, the end of July through first 2 weeks of August, then they shot it
mhm,
up, basically hitting that 50 fib, and then prices pulled back since
yeah,
then.
yeah,
But we haven't come back here to accumulate more. You
mhm,
notice that?
yeah,
All that accumulation going on. Heck, it was even the middle of July. Lots of accumulating going on. This is a weekly zone, so even though you see a daily close below, guys, it's still a weekly zone. So that's
mhm.
why it's not removed.
I'm gonna go with the just one put for tomorrow on the 37s. They're super cheap. They're
Mhm.
50 cents. I'm just going to go for that. I have a question though. This is way off subject. So I should have said this when before I came in. I was on the phone with my buddy going over. So he shows me, he's like, should I sell this CRM? And I'm like thinking, man, we sold for good profits this morning, you know? And he's showing it to me and I'm looking closer. Okay.
Mhm.
And if you look at my trade, I bought the 220s and I sold the 230s, I believe.
Mhm.
Let me just
Mhm.
make sure. So I'm looking at it and then I closed out of it and I'm like, yeah, man, take those profits, you know. I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like the picture he just showed me looks completely opposite of what I took. So I have a question for anybody that's listening right now. What have any of you guys clicked, whether it's on mine, Mel's, John Carter? Has anybody clicked on the link here? And when you go to put it into your Thinkorswim to look at, is it the opposite? Because what he did, Mel, was bought the 230 or bought the 220s and sold the 230s. Complete opposite
What?
of what I did.
Wait a minute. What
Yeah, so he's
expiration?
which ones do we have? Let me come up here.
September?
CRM. Okay, so I bought the 220s, sold the 230s, and that was for 18 September.
18th of September.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You bought the 220s.
And sold the 230s. So they're deep in the
Okay.
money now,
Yeah,
right?
very.
So those are profitable. He did the
Right?
exact opposite. He
He
sold the
sold the
220s
220s?
and bought the 230s. So what he did was called a call credit spread, saying
It's
that
the
price is
opposite.
not going to go up there.
Right.
Exactly.
So
So
his
complete
should be a
opposite.
loss.
Yeah, it was. That's what I'm saying. It was like 17 and then he doubled it. Instead of one, he did two. And
Ooh.
so my thought was I've never heard of anybody because I've copied John's just to look to see what it looks like,
Mhm.
right? I'm like I'm not taking this too much for me. But I've never had a problem with it reversing. So my first thought process is he must have changed the contract size and when he did, he somehow messed it up.
Okay,
It's
so
easy to mess
it's
things up
easy to
if you
mess it
don't
up.
understand
Yep.
these kind of trades.
So the easiest thing to do, if you want this to
Hmm.
be a
Like copy. Let's just say you like the idea and you want to copy it. For me,
well, then you
if
just
you don't
click on
understand,
it
right, but if you don't understand spreads, the copy and paste feature, you should probably like know how to set them up and understand what they mean. So like what Mel is about to show you, you could right click on that Mel
on
and just say
toss.
vertical. Yeah.
On toss, it is very easy. So if you want it to be a call
Hmm.
credit spread, then you're clicking on sell
Right. Right. It,
vertical.
right.
This is
Exactly.
going to give you a credit.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be a debit spread, which is what John's was, you're clicking on buy and vertical.
Yeah, let me see. Hey, do you have just a few minutes to jump in the room and listen to us for a second? This is important. If you have a minute, let me see if he's available. Because this goes for anybody. This is, I mean, it's just devastating for me. I'm like, you
Yeah.
have multiple contracts. You should be up nicely this morning.
Oh, huge.
Instead, he did the
Shoot.
opposite. And
And
so
you
it's
still
going
have,
against me.
look at this sucker.
Oh, I
John,
know.
it could come all the way up to 259.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where you have the weekly supply at.
Yep.
And technically, this is
Man.
all supply, right? All right. While we're waiting for said friend to come into the room,
He said he's
um,
at the gym running.
oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
going
but
to
I'm good.
look at UNH for TLC. Does this one have earnings? Oh, can't make it. Poo poo up. Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, they don't. They're
okay.
supposed to do it from the bottom.
All right, we don't have earnings here. So big picture using Fibonacci, you have the 50 and the 618. It was absolutely positively resistance here. UNH is neutral as well. If you just look at the trend labels up here, the yearly is neutral. This is a weekly chart. So I have fibs drawn here for the up move. And if we're neutral, I have fibs drawn of this down move and then the most recent rally in UNH is here. So notice that price has pulled back from this rally TLC to the bull channel and it is holding the bull channel so far. Almost an absolute perfect touch of the 38.2. The issue being that you have immediate resistance above in the form of the 50, the 618, and you can see you have inside down price action. So it's candlestick structure and it's Fibonacci. Reason to expect selling pressure there. This big old topping wick, that's a clue in itself. So a buyer down at 390 to 375 and seller 420, 438, and 464. That's what I see on the weekly chart for UNH. If I go to a daily chart, and I'm just going to leave these same zones here, I'll see if anything really changes. The only thing I would do is if I was trading this from a daily time frame perspective, I would note that you have inside and down structure here. So maybe trimming early at about 409. You came very close to that yesterday. Price got up to 406 and we are coming down. As long as this demand zone continues to hold, then this is where I want to be a buyer. If the bulls give up the 38.2 here, then you have a pretty high probability that you could be coming back to 359 to 335 and the daily 200 is there. All right, so you're running into resistance on the daily 21 and 50. You're also running into candlestick structure and Fibonacci resistance. All right, yeah, you're welcome. Serini, I believe John alerted the MRVL trade, so you should see the dates there. The call side, he went with the September 18th. Oh, you just did the call side. Is that correct, John? Yeah, looks like just the call side there. All right. Next up is Rocket Lab. Wow, I haven't looked at Rocket Lab in a while. RKLB. Some of these things I forget all about if they're not in front of me all the time. Okay, definitely need to adjust this drawing set. So that'll be cool. We'll look at it from a top-down approach just to get an idea of where it's at. It's back in demand. It has been here for quite some time, all year, except for that rally out. And we are back down deeper into the demand zone. I'm actually going to clear the weekly chart as well. And I just want to get a fresh eye perspective. Okay, first thing I notice is this imbalance candle here a few weeks ago. Now, you might look at this and say, oh, look, it's a fresh demand zone, price is coming back to, but you always have to train your eye to look to the left. Please, 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 always train your eye to look further left. And you can see, is this a fresh zone? You got to participate in the chat. Is this a fresh zone? No, that's correct. Because we created the zone there. But even this wasn't a fresh zone because look further to the left. There. Do you see how this zone is this wide and it was originally created right here? So you have this demand zone that price has indeed pulled back to, but it is nowhere near fresh, even though you've got some pretty nice looking imbalance moves out of it up to this pivot high. I don't know if it's an all-time high. Yes, it is. So that being said, we're back in that zone. You have come down, you have tested near the bottom. This is a low. That was a higher pivot low. So it's going to be very telling if Rocket Lab holds above 58.20, which is the most recent pivot low, or does it flush down below it? When a zone has been tested this many times for me, I'm definitely waiting for confirmation. You can use, once we release the indicator, you're going to be able to use that if you don't want to manually find the confirmation. As far as supply goes, I got to look up and I got to look to the left, and I'm looking for the imbalance moves down. I've got a couple. One, I got a bigger one here, and I definitely have a large one up here. Okay. The origin of the move, where sellers took control of this thing, is right up here. So I'm just going to make it red, color it red on this weekly. I can go to the dailies and other smaller time frames and find the candlestick structure for you. Or you can just draw your zone there because you got an imbalance move with continuation all the way back to demand. This is supply. Okay. All right. Inside and down, there. So the immediate supply is here. So you have the origin of the move supply zone, and then you have the more immediate supply zone right here. Now this is inside and down candlestick structure, but I would more label this as a first target resistance on the weekly chart. Okay. All right. Now, is anyone curious about the Fibonacci's related to these supply zones? I always am. So I'm going to show it to you. Notice that T1 is going to set up as a relief bounce back up to the 23.6 to the 38.2. My immediate supply zone is lining up with the 50 and the 618 fib. Beautiful. Beautiful confluence, guys. Beautiful. All right. So from a weekly chart, this is what I got. Let's move it down to the daily. I want to keep that drawing on there though. And I just want to look at the daily. Number one, you are under all of your moving averages. That daily cloud is in your way. T1 looks great. You do have an upper yearly edge right here where you got a couple of white candles. You got your daily 21 sitting there. So if you're just looking to trade this a shorter time frame, 73 would be my first target. A longer time frame, you can set through some of what's going to be a little bit of a difficult journey here. Then use 81 to 87. Ultimately, this is the first supply zone and then the origin of the move or the second supply zone. All right. That's what I see for good old Rocket Lab. And you're welcome, Lester. AVGO, you got it, FJ. My pleasure. Now, AVGO reports earnings next week, I believe. It's getting a little benefit of the doubt here from NVIDIA because AVGO was on a collision course with death. Uh, I'll show you on the daily chart why I'm saying that. It got below the daily 200. It's definitely below the daily cloud. And today on this bounce, it got up to the daily 200. Notice that yesterday we closed below this demand zone that we hung out in for much of the last since the end of June. I'm going to remove this demand zone and because it's just technically speaking, even though we got a bounce here, we did make a lower low from this chop hell. That lower low is here at 350.06. You want to find your supply related to that. All you have to do is send that thing left extension on. All right. And then you're just going to go back to the left until you see candlestick structure that matches there. And it's coming from this move. We created a low down here. Then we got a pop, a consolidation, a consolidation, a consolidation, and a pop. See it? So below that recent low, the fresh demand area is going to be right here on AVGO. Notice that the 350 level from yesterday is where we gapped up into after this candle. You have no candlestick structure here. I'm not going to drag my demand all the way up here. I'm just not going to do it because it's not accurate. If I run Fibonacci of this move, which was beautiful from March of last year up until June of this year, and then we fall down. We get below the 618. Now we're back up testing the 618, testing the daily 200. Here's your imposter level, and here is your 887 target. Okay, so from a Fibonacci standpoint, this thing looks poopy. You are bouncing up to the daily 200 immediate resistance. I'm going to run some Fibonacci from the high. See, even this little rally right here, let's find the low and let's see. Did we get above the 618? Absolutely not. We got to the 50 and we turned down. Here is the most recent low. So this gives me a beautiful sell zone based on Fibonacci and a beautiful sell zone or supply zone based on candlestick structure. here. So I'm just going to make this whole zone here red, supply, because when you get ready to ask about this name for earnings, in my opinion, 412 to 440 is going to be a good target zone above. And this is, again, based on supply, candlestick structure, and Fibonacci. Above there you go. All right. So you shorter term, you have inside and down right here. So that's an immediate target here. And that's where your daily 50, daily 21 is at. So there's you a couple of targets on the way back up to that supply. But for now, 350 remains support. It is not demand. Then this is your imposter level, and here's your 887 target, but here's your demand zone. Okay. And that's what I see for AVGO. Like I said, it's having a little bit of trouble. It's getting a benefit of the doubt because NVIDIA. But as far as the semiconductor names, it's actually one of the weaker ones. Awesome, FJ. I'm glad my explanation made things more clear. All right. I think we made it through all of the question. John, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. What's up?
TLC has a question very specific to you. What are the rules for trading the debit spreads before earnings?
Um, what are the rules? There are no rules. The first rule to debit spreads into earnings, there are no rules. It's like Fight Club, you know. It's we're taking trades. What in the world? Oh, we're taking trades based on supply and demand. You know, and I keep saying that's what I love about what we do. I don't change anything. So I have to say this for anyone that's never heard it. You know, my entire existence, I've been told in trading that we don't trade earnings because we don't know what's going to happen, which I agree. But I also don't know what's going to happen anytime I put a trade on. I think I know what's going to happen. And I try to take those probabilities and put them in my favor. And that thinking becomes a little bit more convicted, right? Um, so the rules are we are looking for supply and demand. And the idea is that when I put on a debit spread, it's very rare that I only put on, say, the call side or the put side. Usually, what I'm trying to do is strangle the idea. And this, I think, basically, this would be more like a straddle if you look up the definitions. But as I said before, if it's overall bullish, I'm going to buy a little bit more time for that to play out. And if it's bullish, I'm going to buy some put debits where I would want to buy, right? And I'm going to buy those with less time. If something's super bearish, then I'm going to buy the put debits out just a little bit, and I'm going to buy the calls for that, week's expiration. So it's the opposite of what I would do uh, on the call side versus the put side, right? Bullish or bearish. But there are no specific rules. I mean, the idea is that we're using supply and demand and we are trying to trade to those zones, but we're also being sort of smart about it, right? Meaning, I'm not going to buy like something that only has, let's say, like a 4 ATR, like what we were talking about. I'm not going to buy $20 out of the money. Like that just doesn't make any sense. With CrowdStrike, CRM, Marvell, right? Those names move a lot. And I'm looking at the overall dynamics of the market. Are we really euphoric? Do we still have a lot of room for the Nasdaq to run up to? What's going on in war? Is the POTUS going to say something? Is it starting to feel bullish? And then I take a good company like CrowdStrike, and I think to myself, this thing could really run. And the market conditions are perfect for this type of run. So you'll see me buy more out of the money. CRM, the idea was on a monthly and it was an inside and up and it was absolutely beautiful looking. So I went ahead and bought way out of the money on that as well. And sometimes they work great, sometimes they don't. But I would say the number one rule is that you understand both can go to zero. Okay, that's the number one rule. Understand that because of the high premiums and depending on the expiration. That's why I buy a little bit of time on the trend direction so that if I am wrong, I could end up being right. Right. Um, the second rule would be like I try my best to position these to if one beats, it pays for the other's loss. Right. Every once in a while, I'll come out break even or I may be down just a tad. But most of the time, I made more money on one side than I did paying for the two of them together. Okay. And then finally, I would say it's just trading. It's just trading. So,
There you go. Kevin
yep,
said it.
yep.
Be comfortable with the max loss. You got to find your allocation amount per trade, guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
find that amount that your account can handle and your emotions can handle, and then trade that amount.
Yeah. And try
Uh,
not to think about going back to the ATM. I know that sounds weird, but
going back to the
coming from a
what?
guy that used to love to gamble, I would tell you if I knew I had bank in the account or money in the account,
Uh-huh.
this is way before I started trading. I was just going to the casinos and having fun way back in the day, since 1997. And my
Gosh,
whole
you were
thing
a
was
baby.
like, I know one thing that I remember is like I was thinking, well, I still have $2,000 in my checking account, so if I lose this
Oh,
$500
shoot.
on the table, I'll go back and get another 500.
Oh my
That
God.
same perspective, I've heard people talking about trading, Mel, and they think the same way. They're like, well, I'm going to get paid on Friday. I'll put more money in my account. So don't think that
Ooh,
way. Be comfortable
yikes.
emotionally, like Mel said. I think that's actually a question that should come up today in our, you know, call. What really is the secret ingredient behind trading besides all the amazing levels and the process we do has to be you being at a zen state when taking these trades so that you're not stressed out.
Awesome. Um, let's see. Oh, Pete is asking about Amazon, and it's very curious that you ask about Amazon. I don't know, John, if you've looked at Amazon. I was looking at it today. It's at the 5618 Fibonacci. Now, you don't have candlestick structure, and this thing's below the 21 and all that. And we're breaking down below the daily cloud and all that, but just measuring the move here when we had, remember those absolutely fabulous days in Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
We're at that 50 and 618 right here. Now, understand from a Fibonacci standpoint, if price breaks down below 249.48, and what I would actually do is use this upper yearly edge because what was resistance is now support. So I'm going to talk about the things that I like down here to for buyers to step in. From just looking at the shorter time frame chart, this thing is looks like it's coming down further. You got a lowercase h here. Lowercase h stands for hopium, and it usually goes HOPE, and we come down. All right, but I'm gonna tell you what I like about this acting as support. First off, the 50 and the 618 fib. Second off, the daily 50, which is typically support. Third, your monthly edge mid, which is support because we're above it. And the upper yearly edge, which is support because we're above it. So all of those things I like about Amazon being a buy the dip potentially here. The things I don't like is that the Nasdaq is up 500 points or whatever we're up. I don't even know right now.
Mhm.
377 points. And Amazon is making lower lows and at lows of the day. But that's the market we've been trading in. And I'm just going to say it out loud so everybody can hear it. You want to know why this thing has been more difficult than usual? It is because since May, anytime the AI semiconductor software areas of the market is going up, your lag or bag or mag sevens, whatever you want to call them, are going down. And it's just what we've been dealing with, and that's different than other in years past. So that being said, we're seeing weakness today on Amazon, but it is in a place. There's no way I'm going short here. I'll say that. I can only be a buyer in this zone. If you're looking for a place to short it, because I'm not going to act like we're not below some key levels. If you're looking for a place to short it, I would just use this consolidation area. And here's where we started turning back down. So I'd be a seller if we pop back up to 261 to 260. I'm going to go upper monthly edge, 268. But where it's at right now, the only thing I can do is be a buyer. What do you think about Amazon, John?
Um, let's see. I agree with all that you're saying. It's kind of weird, right? Because it has like the gap down there, and
I know.
it has the trendy edge. It's under one of your moving averages there. It's breaking down below the cloud. What does it look like? So when it starts to look crazy like this, would you mind putting it on a monthly and then let's look
Oh
at the
yeah,
quarterly
let's
real
go.
fast? So when I start to get stressed out,
Can
like in
I
my
start with the quarterly first? Because
yeah,
I'd
start with
rather
the
go from
quarter.
top.
Yeah, start with the quarter. When I start to feel a little stressed out about a chart like that, that chart kind of stresses me out. I feel like I need to be right pretty quickly, but I don't want to be. So that means I'm going to go to a higher time frame. You know,
Quarterly chart.
yeah, this quarterly chart we had inside and up. It came back 3 quarters ago into there, right? That one to the
Mhm.
right. So it came back into there.
Mhm.
And then we pushed up for the last 2 quarters. I mean, to me, it's lined up with that 9 EMA. I'm long for the rest of the year as long as we stay above 217. That's like the easiest trade for me. It
Oh
really
yeah,
is. And
that's
that,
the long-term trade.
yeah, yeah,
Heck yeah.
yeah. And let me see the monthly. And then from a month, we might see something
Oh my gosh,
that
do you
gives us
have the
even more
alerts
conviction.
for the new indicator turned off,
Yeah,
or
so
do yours go off in your head all day long too?
I turn them off. So
Okay.
do you know how to turn them off? You do,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't
Yeah.
know if that's what I'm supposed to do, but it goes off
Yeah.
constantly.
I had a chart going off. I swear to you, it was on the
Oh
daily.
my
So if you
gosh.
have
Oh
one on
no,
the daily, it
dude.
will not shut up.
Yes, I do.
Because you
And
know how
it
it like fluctuates? It's going
mhm.
over it, it's going under
Yeah.
it, so it's
Yeah.
not closed. So it's ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding. I'm like, oh my gosh. So the monthly, I like this. Now we have confluence at the edge and the 9 EMA.
Okay,
So
and
yeah.
remember my chart, Jay, that 50, that
Hmm.
618, and that upper yearly edge and the daily 50 all right in here,
Yeah.
right there.
Right. So I mean, if I wanted to take a trade right here, like Mel's saying, I would probably be scaling in. And if I pull, I'm buying time. At least this is me, at least into January, and I'm going to keep adding in as long as we
Look at this
stay in that
beaut
area.
right here, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that beauty.
Hmm.
That'd make you a buyer. If it drops lower, I'm still a buyer.
Yeah.
220 to 196
This
because of
reminds
that.
me. I feel like they're about to go through the same phase as Nvidia. So they've been, if you think about the highs from a year ago and where they are, they're just basically in a channel
Mm.
here. and at some point they're going to break out. So I just keep adding in as
Heck
long as the high time frames
yes.
hold. So,
Holy crap, John, look at that. This is my long-term trade, and we trimmed
mhm,
at 287.
mhm,
And that was just a Fibonacci extension, guys. I didn't find any candlestick structure, just Fib extension. But yeah,
mhm.
glad that we were a buyer down here at 210 earlier in the year.
Yeah, I think earlier in the year we had leaps on. I had like 50 wide butterflies that I mean we did well. It did
Hmm.
well. And it might be now that we're getting ready to go into the end of the year.
Do
If
you
I get
remember why we were buyers down here, John? I do. I remember having this discussion back here in February, March.
I can't
Yeah,
remember off the
in
top of my
March,
head.
anticipating an inside nut
Okay, gotcha.
at
Yeah.
yearly edge mid.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Anticipating an inside nut at the yearly edge mid.
Yeah.
That worked out very well. And now we're
Mhm.
just pulling back from there. That's what I see on the monthly. Um, and then we can go. Do you want to go to a weekly or
Yeah. Let me see the weekly.
let me get my drawings off of it? Okay.
What, 4 weeks down? I mean, so we're at a
One,
level that
two,
Mel's
three,
talking
four. Yeah,
about.
that 5618 man, it's right
Yeah, I
there.
mean, everything tells me this is a start to add in slowly,
Look at
you
it.
know. But I'm gonna back up what you said, Mel, about I don't like the fact that we're up so much in the Nasdaq and this thing's down. But there's been a lot of stuff that's been weird this year. Apple's kind
Uh,
of been weird, you know.
the
Nvidia's been
Mag
weird.
7 in general has been
Hmm.
weird, and half of the market tech related goes up, the other half goes down, and then the next day or two we flip flop.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if we think about cycles, I mean, how many times, okay, if you just look back a year or so, Mel, how many times have we gone out in 4 weeks on Amazon?
How
If it's
many?
a,
Oh, I
yeah,
loved
so just,
doing this too.
yeah. So if this is a rare occasion, then, and we're at levels, it's a time for me to start
Here's
getting in.
here's the last time it happened.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four, five.
Yep.
5 weeks down.
And that was that
Then we
2025?
consolidated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's this year. No, let's see. We got one, but that one's not. That one's not. Then you got
So
one,
three seems to
two.
be the common denominator. Like three is
You
the
got
typical.
one, two here.
Yeah, two. Yep.
eh, Two. Two's typical.
Yeah, two.
And this is
So
four.
yeah. Well, and then we
This
have
is
four over
why
here.
this is what I was talking about. Like I was looking at Amazon earlier thinking, okay, am I gonna trade this thing? But look right here, Jay.
Mm,
It's very early, but I don't know. I think you gotta give yourself time. I agree with you
yeah,
100%
yeah.
about that.
I'm gonna buy time if I
Yeah.
jump into this.
But I don't like it. The only reason why I'm not putting a trade on it today is because the Nasdaq's up 400 and Amazon's at lows of the week. That's
Mm,
poo poo,
mm-hmm,
you know?
mm-hmm. But it's I mean you guys could almost talk me into like starting a trade here, but
I
I'm
know.
gonna
I
hold off.
know. It's so hard. I
Here,
was
here's a cool
curious.
thing. Here's a cool thing, Mel. With the new
Uh-huh.
indicator, um, I could wait until I get a
You get
signal on
confirmation.
a 4 hour or 2 hour, something with a little
Yep.
bit more time,
Yep.
and then go ahead and go for it. You
Yeah,
know.
2 or 4 on the, weekly or sorry, the,
Oh, I see you got the updated one on there. I haven't put it on there. I gave him that information the other day. I said, hey, can you make this say buy zone and sell zone?
yeah, he did.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So here's the buy zone. You can see it's in gray. And what John's saying is we got the indicator on here. You're waiting for a 2-hour signal, and it'll give you that signal when it's ready. And if it's giving you a short signal, guess what? That's your
Yeah.
first clue it's not ready.
Yeah. It's not ready, right?
It's not ready. So,
And we'll go more into detail
yeah.
of that during the class as well, just giving you the time frames and the zones and everything that we like to look for. So if you want to swing, I love that because we're all kind of indecisive. It's like, well, I could start now, but as we all
Mhm.
know, if we maybe just stall and, say, hey, we're not going to do anything until we at least get a confirmation, that might really help
Mhm.
us out here, you know? So,
Yep. Yep, yep. That's good stuff. Lester wants to know if Meta is a short.
I don't know, but that was a fun trade yesterday. It's like
Hey,
100%
you took it
finished.
like 220 to 420 quick, quick,
Quick.
quick.
Yeah, it was wild.
Uh, so from a Fibonacci perspective, Lester, here's the answer to the $1 million question is you pushed up, I think that was yesterday, probably where John exited his trade, you pushed up into that bear channel from just measuring the fibs from high to low right there, or most recent high to low. So that's where, in my opinion, the short, if you're just talking shorter term, was from here. Now you are about $13 less than where I believe the ideal short was, which was that bear channel, given the fact that it is shorter time frame, looking like caca.
Yeah.
Daily chart. Sitting right at the daily 21 here. Look at the perfect hit. I know John exited his trade right here at supply. You can see it inside and down. Beautiful, beautiful. He bought it down here and he exited it right there. But the short was from up here. So you got to ask yourself, you're about $26 below the ideal short. That's what
Hmm.
I would say. You're actually coming in to support the bottom of the cloud right now. And big question, if you like to be a momentum trader, then if you make a lower low, okay? But here's your reward. This is demand. Now it's a tested demand zone, but it is demand. Test, test, test. Okay?
And again, if you like meta, I would really focus on, like, if you're really trying to nail meta, I personally would look at the monthly and the quarterly because this thing's been
To short.
just in general, like,
Oh,
what is it doing under the surface? That's what I want to know. Because is it building something we can't see on a higher time frame? Because, it's not been great this year. We know that. But that right there, just right away, that looks like a rounding bottom. But when I
mhm.
think about all the shit it's putting everyone through, people are it's just like, if you don't have a choppy type of process where you don't know how to trade chop, people are getting chopped up in this, when really at the end of the day, Mel, look at the couple quarters ago where we hit the bottom of the yearly edge.
I
No,
Yep,
all the way
I know
down. Yeah, yeah.
right
Oh,
here.
sorry. You're Yeah.
No, I know exactly where you're
Yeah,
talking about
so
'cause I
so
was
really
buying it.
what's really happening, guys, is like we're holding the lower yearly edge, and this is a longer term trade until prices close under that yearly edge. Okay.
Now, in my opinion, you definitely got some supply right up there.
Oh
And
yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
tested,
Hmm.
tested here. And these big old topping wicks, that's just yucky selling pressure, but exactly what John said. But look at, you want to know why? Because look at that imbalance candle out of there, Jay.
Hmm. What is the I mean, we could probably guess actually. The yearly is just gonna look like a bunch of up candles.
Oh,
But
yeah, I
but
can go to it.
but this is
Let
the
me
kind of
get
trade
this
too.
demand here, though.
This is the kind of trade, guys, like I would just buy the 720s when it's down low and they're going to be cheap, and I'm only going to buy out for, a month or so, because they are the kind of name, if some kind of big catalyst comes in, we're going to get a ripper.
That I just put a line there on the yearly edge mid. That's
Mm,
what that is.
okay.
Let's look at the yearlies. So
Mm. Looks like it's going to be an inside year this year. I could be wrong, but
yeah, could be. That
mhm,
means we'll close, guys, in between 587 and 657.
yeah. Just and that's just speculation based on inside and up and inside and down.
Yep.
So
But so we're chopping. Low or
yeah.
high, high or low.
And that makes sense now, right, Mel? I
Mhm.
mean, when you go back in
Complete sense.
hindsight, if it was December or January and we went back and it's an inside year, you're going to go like, no wonder. And if
Yep.
you really think about it, if that thing closes inside, it's going to be a very big doji candle that was very
Mhm.
indecisive.
Yep.
So could put an iron
This where you
condor on
want to
it.
be a buyer. That's where you want to be a seller.
Yep.
Uh, Big picture.
Hmm.
Smaller picture, which I think is what Lester was talking about because he was asking where to go short, is those levels I gave you on that smaller time frame chart, though.
Yeah, and if you could do anything, Lester, like what I would recommend and what Mel would recommend is like if you guys are just starting out, if any of you are having a hard time, just try to only execute at levels.
Yeah.
So if we have a supply and demand zone, don't do anything unless price gets there. You know, that's like one of the I'd say that's that's a really good rule to remember if I could go back once I got into technical trading. I can't believe like it was I remember talking about this. My friend was so excited when we first started trading. He was like, "Have you ever heard of this kind of candle and that kind of candle?" And they were like Japanese names, and I was like, "No, who gives a crap about candles? Like technicals are dumb, you know." And I can't believe I said that, but
Oh
I actually did.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh. What
Yeah.
is that, Bart? Is that like a options for their
Flow,
strikes, maybe?
maybe?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Order flow, bull flow. There you go.
Yeah, so for January into January, we're looking at 1.7 million to 1.8 million um, for the 700 strike. I mean, that makes
Says
sense to me.
158 million at that 750 strike. So that 750 strike is just below the upper yearly edge.
Hmm.
But I'm still a long-term holder
Hmm.
of Meta. At least I've got some action this year. Sometimes you don't get any action, but I added at 516 and trimmed them at 661. So I'll keep doing it, you know,
Hmm.
till I don't know. Can you imagine if it's down here at $198? People are going to be freaking out. I'm just going to be buying.
Yeah, same. Um, hmm,
Whether you love or hate Meta and Zuckerberg, I don't think it's going to fall off the face of the earth anytime soon. So
right.
I'm a buyer. I don't see any other questions, John. My mom and dad are getting ready to leave for Jacksonville. My dad's celebrating his birthday. His birthday is Saturday, but my brother in Jacksonville, Charlie,
Hmm.
got them all tickets to the Jacksonville Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason game. So he's going to celebrate his birthday in Jacksonville this
Oh, that's
weekend.
awesome.
So
Nice. And you said you're going or you're not?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, Chris and I are staying home.
Gotcha.
Mom and dad are driving over there. So I was going to tell them bye before they leave.
Mm, okay, cool. All right. I guess, and then for everybody else, I'll be in that call this afternoon if you guys are going to be there. And if you need me, I'm in the background.
Good
I'll try not
stuff.
to fall asleep. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's dark outside. The
Let me
dogs have
see.
been the dogs have been sleeping here the whole time.
Wow,
They're
because
just
of the
knocked out.
rain?
Yes, and I feel just like them. I'm like, we have a call. Like, how many more hours is that? That's 3 hours
Uh,
from now. I might be. What
oh.
if the cameras were on and I just was like still
That
sleeping.
would be horrible. Not good. Not good at all. Go take a
Yeah,
nap.
yeah,
Oh, wait,
exactly.
are they still doing renovation on your bathroom, though? You might
So they're
not be able to
put.
take a
Oh
nap.
my gosh! So they got one piece of glass in, and then realized they need to go back to the shop and cut it again. I'm like, dude, let's go,
Oh,
please.
wow. See, I did mine, and you might call me crazy, but when we renovated my bathroom, I had them make it
Mm.
where no glass.
Oh, really?
Yep, because I hate cleaning the glass, John.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it's not going to be fun. But I don't know, Mel. I don't know any. Well, I guess there could have been an enclosure with like it would have been hard because it's a steam shower. Like I just don't know.
Oh,
You know what I
you
mean?
the
That would be
steam
like
off,
it would feel like you're in a
it would be
box.
impossible.
Yeah, it would be weird, honestly. I wouldn't
If
want
you
that.
Yeah, if you so we have the rain, the big huge rain like you were talking about. We have
Mm,
that. We have all the extra sprayers and blah 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 and all that. But I just did basically a half wall so that the spray doesn't go out, and
mm,
then the where you walk in is far enough away from the spray that there is water that gets on the floor, but not much. It's just small
mm.
amount, and
Yeah. One thing I'm noticing, I took a shower this morning and in that shower for the first time, and with all the tile, all the white tile
mhm,
everywhere, the
mhm.
water gets everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
dog hair. The dogs haven't even been in the room, but just like
Oh
from the
gosh.
breeze or whatever, it's all over the white, tile. And I'm just like, oh man, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
So,
we have white tile also, but I love it, man. I can't wait to see pictures when it's done. It's gonna look amazing.
you talking about mine?
What is
Have you seen?
RBRK?
Did you watch my video that I put on X?
No.
Oh,
Do
I
you
did
know
a full
you know
walkthrough
how
of the
often I go
bathroom.
to
I know.
X?
Go to my video and
Oh,
here. Let me see if I can
did
pull
you
it up.
see this RBRK?
What is that?
I don't know, but I just
Mm,
looked at it and what a monthly candle. Holy
that is
mackerel.
beautiful. What's
Let's see.
BE been doing?
Bloom Energy? Aren't you in that?
I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were.
Mm, I think I might have traded at one point, but nothing long term.
Can't make that stuff up right there.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Okay. Oh
Good
my
old
gosh, I
Bloom
cannot
Energy.
stop yawning.
Oh
Sorry,
no,
guys.
it's
It's so bad. It's
John,
contagious.
don't
It's contagious
wait.
to
You can't
microphones too.
do that, dude. Oh man, I wasn't even tired.
Oh man.
All right, I'm gonna hop off here. I'm gonna tell my mom and dad bye.
Okay, cool.
Fun hanging out,
All right. Thank you,
and
Mel.
I'll
Appreciate it.
be listening on the trader call.
All right. Awesome.
All right, bye bye, guys.
Bye.